Episode 1. Why Smart People Fail at Trading. There's something about the markets that nobody warns you about before you start. You hear the stories. Someone turned a small account into a fortune. Someone else quit their job and trades from a beach in Thailand. It all sounds so possible, and the truth is, it is possible. That's the cruel part, because when you finally sit down in front of your charts, you'll notice something. You can see where price is going, not every time, but often enough to believe you've figured something out. And then you place a few trades and some of them work, and it feels effortless, like the money is just sitting there, waiting for anyone brave enough to take it. This is where the trap begins. In the early days of the financial markets, fundamental analysis was king. You studied earnings reports, interest rates, supply and demand, and you made your decisions based on what should happen. It was logical, it was intellectual, and for a long time, it was the only respectable way to trade. But here's what the fundamental analysts discovered slowly and painfully. The market doesn't care about what should happen. Prices don't move because of models. Prices move because of people, and people don't always act rationally. A trader on the floor of an exchange doesn't care about your balance sheets. He's reacting to fear, greed, rumor, and momentum, forces that no spreadsheet can ever capture. So the trading world shifted. Technical analysis rose, patterns in price, repeating structures, support, resistance, momentum. Suddenly, traders had a new language, and it worked. It worked because instead of predicting what should happen, technicians focused on what was happening. They watched collective behavior, the footprints of fear and greed, and they found that these footprints repeat with statistical reliability. And technical analysis opened a door that fundamental analysis never could. It revealed an endless stream of opportunities. Every time frame, from the 1-minute chart to the monthly, offered patterns, setups, and edges. The possibilities seemed limitless, but then something strange happened. Despite having better tools, better data, and better understanding of market behavior, most traders still couldn't make money consistently. Think about that for a moment. A trader learns to read the market. He can spot a trend. He can identify when price is likely to reverse. He looks at a chart and sees the move before it happens. And then he doesn't take the trade, or he takes it too late, or he gets in and panics at the first pullback, or he moves his stop, or he exits early, or he doesn't exit at all, and watches a winner slowly bleed into a devastating loss. There is a gap, a psychological gap, between seeing an opportunity and actually capitalizing on it, between knowing what to do and actually doing it. And this gap is not caused by a lack of knowledge. It's caused by something much deeper. The biggest failures in trading are not the people who don't understand the markets. They're the people who understand the markets brilliantly. Doctors, engineers, lawyers, CEOs, entrepreneurs, some of society's most accomplished individuals. They bring sharp minds and strong work ethics into trading, and they get destroyed, not because they're stupid, because they're human. Meanwhile, there are traders with simple methods, average analytical skills, and nothing particularly special about their strategies, and they pull consistent profits year after year. How is that possible? The difference is not what they know about the market, it's what they know about themselves. The best traders think differently, not just slightly differently, fundamentally differently. They have a mental structure that allows them to act without fear and without recklessness at the same time. They don't freeze, they don't hesitate, they don't need to be right, and they don't become reckless when they're winning. This is what separates them from the other 95%. Most traders never arrive at this realization. Instead, they assume the problem is their strategy. Their indicator is wrong. Their time frame isn't optimal. They need a better entry signal, a tighter filter, a more sophisticated algorithm. So they go deeper into analysis. They study more. They add more complexity. They seek more knowledge. And the more they learn, the worse they trade. It sounds paradoxical, But it's true, because the more you know about the market, the more you expect from it, and the more you expect, the more it hurts when the market does something you didn't anticipate. And the more it hurts, the more afraid you become, and the more afraid you become, the more errors you make. This is the cycle that traps nearly every trader who ever lived. Not a cycle of ignorance, a cycle of knowledge misused, a cycle of knowledge acquired for the wrong purpose. The solution has never been in the markets. The solution is, and always has been, in the mind of the trader. 95% of the errors you will ever make, the hesitation, the jumping in too early, the holding losers too long, the cutting winners short, the revenge trades, the oversized positions, all of them come from 4 fears. The fear of being wrong, the fear of losing money, the fear of missing out, and the fear of leaving money on the table. Every single error traces back to one of those 4. And here's the great paradox of trading. If you're afraid of being wrong, that fear will cause you to act in ways that make you wrong. If you're afraid of losing, your fear will cause the very losses you dread. Fear doesn't protect you in the markets. It attacks you from the inside. A healthy fear of the market sounds wise, but in practice, fear narrows your vision. It makes you blind to information that contradicts your position. It makes you deaf to what the market is actually telling you. It freezes you when you should act and forces you to act when you should be still. The best traders are not fearless in the way you might imagine. They don't have nerves of steel. They don't white-knuckle their way through trades with superhuman willpower. They simply don't experience fear in the first place because they have learned to think in a way that eliminates the source of that fear entirely. They have accepted, at the deepest level of their being, that any trade can go against them, that being wrong is not a reflection of their worth, that losing money on a single trade is not a catastrophe. It's a cost of doing business, no different than any other business expense. When you reach that level of acceptance, the market loses its power to hurt you emotionally. And when the market can't hurt you, you stop making the errors that hurt you financially. Now you might be thinking, if it's not about analysis, why do I need to study the market at all? You do. You absolutely need a method. You need an edge. You need to understand what you're looking at when you open a chart. But, and this is the critical distinction, market analysis is not the path to consistency. It's a supporting tool. The path to consistency runs through your psychology, through your beliefs, through the way you process uncertainty, handle risk, and relate to the possibility of being wrong. You have 2 choices. You can try to eliminate the uncertainty of the market by learning everything there is to know, every pattern, every indicator, every variable. This path feels productive, but it leads to a black hole of analysis that will never make you feel safe enough, because the market can always do something you haven't accounted for. Or you can learn to accept the uncertainty, to embrace it, to make peace with the fact that you will never know what happens next, and that you don't need to. When you choose the second path, trading becomes simple, not easy. Simple. There's a difference. Simple means the framework is clear, the rules are defined, the process is straightforward. The difficulty lies not in the complexity of the method, but in the discipline of the mind. This is not about willpower. This is not about gritting your teeth and forcing yourself to follow your rules. This is about becoming the kind of person for whom following the rules is natural, effortless, because there's nothing inside you fighting against it. That transformation is what this series is about. Not indicators, not setups, not strategy. Your mind. Because the road to consistent profitability doesn't pass through a better chart pattern, it passes through a better version of you.